It has been a big year for PlayStation hardware. A lot of stuff's been coming out, and I just got my hands on one of the more recent things they've released, the new PlayStation Pulse Explorer earbuds, which are a bit of a new thing for PlayStation. Sony, as a company, obviously has their own headphone divisions that have worked on things like this, but for PlayStation specifically, we've had plenty of over-ear gaming headsets, but not an in-ear wireless earbud option like this before. And I gotta admit, when I first saw these revealed, I had a little bit of mixed feelings about them, primarily because of the price point matching the feature list that they have to offer, and now that I've had some hands-on time with them, there are some aspects of them that have very much pleasantly surprised me in a great way. And then there's other things, though, that some of my fears were confirmed. Quick shout out, there is still one more bit of PlayStation hardware on its way, which is of course the over-ear option of these, the PlayStation Pulse Elite. I'm planning on covering those once they come out in early January, so if you don't want to miss out on that video, make sure to subscribe. So, general talking points first. Again, these are wireless earbuds that are designed to take advantage of PlayStation's new proprietary PlayStation Link technology. They do have the ability to support Bluetooth as well, and like a number of gaming headsets out on the market now, are capable of supporting both of those signals at the same time. So you can do things like have PlayStation Link connected to a system so you can hear game audio, while having Bluetooth connected to your phone so you can do things like stream music or do a phone call. As of right now, the only device that has PlayStation Link actually built in is the PlayStation Portal. For anything else, you're going to need to make use of a PlayStation Link adapter that is shipped with these headphones as well, and they are being sold separately on top of that. This is a USB-A adapter that you can use with the PS5, either the older or new model. You can use it also with a PC or Mac if you want to use a dedicated connection that way. And generally speaking, this basically ends up working out the same as if you were just using like a 2.4 gigahertz dongle, except it's using that proprietary PlayStation Link technology instead. Alongside the earbuds and the adapter, you're also going to get this portable charging case that will store the earbuds in it as well. The earbuds have an internal battery life of about up to 5 hours. The case adds an extra 10 hours on top of that, leading to a full total of 15, although you're gonna have to break that up as you're, charging the earbuds back up. One thing about the charge case that does bother me a tiny bit, and this is a very pet peeve thing that I'm in the specific circumstance to deal with, because there is a carrying case that holds the earbuds, and there's also a dongle that needs to be used if you want to use this with PlayStation Link on different devices. It'd be cool if this had a way of storing the dongle as well. As someone who has just picked up and reviewed a lot of different products that come with USB dongles, it's really nice to have a way to store away properly a dongle that's paired to a particular device, and this seems like the perfect excuse to do that, and they didn't. And you'll get a total of 4 different sized ear tips for use with the earbuds. The ones on the device by default are kind of the medium size, with a small, large, and extra large size ones coming in the box if you want to swap over to those. Now, as far as how they actually feel using them, I will say they are a lot more comfortable than I first imagined. I'm a lot more used to using wireless earbuds that have more of a kind of downward design where there's something poking up below, whereas these curl up into your ears in a way that I actually got used to very quickly. I generally find in-ear buds to be more uncomfortable versus using an over-ear headset, and I was able to use these for a pretty long period of time once I found the right ear tip for me, while having, at least compared to my usual experiences, relatively minor discomfort. And they sound fantastic. I'm not an audiophile. I'm not going to try and get into like the nitty-gritty in-depth of this, but at least for my kind of general consumer ears, going between this headset and other in-ear buds I've used on my phone for listening to music, as well as going between these and other over-ear headsets I've used for gaming on the PS5, the audio has sounded to me generally pretty excellent. Very good clarity, great separation of different sounds. There's a couple situation-specific things I'll talk about a little later, but I think the main point here is the audio on them does sound great. And something this extends to is also the mic quality on it. I mean, gaming headsets and in-ear bud microphones in general are not the kind of quality where you're going to be using that for, video recording like what I'm doing right now. But as far as being able to have a clean audio pickup of everything that I was saying that was nice and clear, while also being able to drown out any kind of background noises around me so they don't filter through and affect other people that I'm trying to talk to, they did a great job. So with those general points out of the way, I want to talk about more specific use cases. And I want to start with the PlayStation Portal. I want to focus on the Portal first because in a couple ways it feels like that's the device that the Explorer is really meant to be paired with, which is kind of funny because at the same time, it's also not really able to take full advantage of what the Explorer has to offer. If you're using the PlayStation Portal on the go, either because you're taking advantage of your own hotspot or you're just playing somewhere publicly that has Wi-Fi, earbuds obviously make a little bit better of a choice over something like an over-ear headset. And so the pocket-sized portability of the Explorer, along with how low profile they are while you wear them, feels like a really nice fit with the Portal, especially considering the fact that Sony has basically forced it to be that way because the Portal doesn't offer Bluetooth support whatsoever. You can plug in a wired headset to the Portal, but if you want to use any kind of wireless connectivity, it has to be PlayStation Link, meaning it has to be the Explorer or PlayStation's other upcoming Link headset, the PlayStation Pulse Elite. I will say where this does feel a little bit awkward though is the fact that one of the big sales pitches of the Explorer headset is that PlayStation Link technology where it's supposed to be ultra low latency as well as lossless. And the low latency aspect is still certainly true, at least as far as what audio the PlayStation Portal is pushing out relative to the headset. The connection from the PS5 itself is a whole other story, but lossless isn't really lossless when you're dealing with a stream coming from the PS5. In fact, there are PS5 audio functions that don't even work on the PlayStation Portal when being used with a headset, for instance, 3D audio. If you go to your 3D audio settings while using the Explorer headset on the Portal, it's just going to be a grayed out option that doesn't do anything because as far as the PS5 is concerned, it's just pushing out a stream signal that is already going to be compressed and not as complete as a direct connection to the system would be. It's not perfect, but again, if you want wireless earbuds to use with the Portal, this is basically your only option. They are going to sound good, it's just not going to be the same experience you'd get using them with a PS5 directly, which is what we should talk about next. Now, to be perfectly honest, the concept of using in-earbuds instead of an over-ear gaming headset, at least when playing at home, does feel a little bit weird to me. I mean, just you're in the comfort of your own place, you're not worried about something that's small or portable, you don't necessarily need it to be low profile. An over-ear headset just sounds like a better fit to the situation, but I will say the time I spent using the Explorer with the PS5 was overall a very pleasant one. Again, the audio quality on these are fantastic. I actually spent a lot of time going back and forth between these and PlayStation's own Pulse 3D headset. That was the initial main headset being pushed for the PlayStation 5, and the audio quality was certainly an upgrade. Part of this is due to the fact that these are just newer, taking advantage of newer tech, as well as the fact that they are again having a better wireless signal using PlayStation Link over that 2.4 gigahertz dongle that the Pulse 3D would take advantage of. Going back and forth with different games, different sound effects, different noises, just generally speaking, the separation, the location of things, the way 3D audio worked out, everything just sounded generally a lot better versus using an over-ear headset, which was fantastic. And latency on these were great as well. I dived into a couple different rhythm-based games where I was just going along with the beat playing, and while I certainly have my weak moments playing rhythm games, any time I missed was not because of the audio lining up with when I wanted to press a button, it was just my own failure. I will say that going back and forth between this and other gaming headsets though, one area that did feel like a loss is dealing with the environmental noise around you. These earbuds do not have any form of active noise canceling. There's noise rejection for the microphone to make sure that your own audio is nice and clear and separated. But as far as blocking out the room noise around you and interfering with what you're hearing from the headset, it's not doing any. Now, if you're playing a game that is fairly loud and full of music constantly, you've got the volume turned up on these, and you've got the right ear tips picked for your ears, it does a pretty good job of drowning out most of what's around you. It takes quite a bit of sound to really break through. But if you're playing a game that's maybe a little quieter, you're playing like a horror game where there's relatively minimal audio, but you want what stuff to come through as clean as possible, that's where surrounding noise is going to be interfering with you a lot more versus using an over-ear headset where even when those don't offer active noise canceling, do feel like they have a bit of a better seal going on because of the fact that it's just around the whole ear rather than placed inside of it. One thing worth noting is that again, the onboard controls for the Explorer are pretty minimal, and a large part of that is because when being used with the PS5, you're really expected to just take advantage of all the PS5's onboard controls for these things. There's no mic mute button on the Explorer because you can do that on your DualSense. There's no audio balance controls between game and chat volume because you can do that through the PlayStation 5 UI. The only thing you can do directly in the earbuds themselves is turn them off or on and go up or down on the volume, that's it. Where that can be a bit more of an issue though is the third category of using these, which is just as Bluetooth earbuds. Obviously, I don't think anyone's necessarily looking at these thinking that they should buy them as their dedicated earbuds, but if you were gonna buy these to use with a PS5, there's obviously that follow-up thought of, oh, I could just use these as regular earbuds as well when I need to. And that's mostly true. Again, the audio quality on these, even when using with Bluetooth, sounds wonderful. I've been using them with my phone to listen to music as well as do things like chat, and all of that works out great. However, when compared to other earbuds on the market that are not designed to be gaming headsets first and foremost, it's very feature light. Again, there's not really any onboard controls with the Explorer headset, so if you're using it with your phone to listen to music, there's no way to play or pause, there's no way to skip tracks. Audio is not going to stop if you take an earbud out, it's just gonna keep on going. And in fact, the volume buttons on the Explorer also will not work in those conditions. Because the headset is designed to work with Link and Bluetooth at the same time, it's always assuming Link for those volume controls. So if you're not connected to any PlayStation device and you're just using it with your phone to listen to music, you're still not gonna be able to control that audio, you're gonna have to rely on the controls on your phone instead. Ultimately, the main purpose of the Bluetooth connection on these is for that simultaneous situation where you wanna be able to get your game audio while connected to the PS5 or PlayStation Portal, and then use your Bluetooth connection to connect to your phone so you can do other things like take calls, listen to music, whatever. There's nothing stopping you from using these as dedicated earbuds for other devices as well as you want to, and again, the sound quality is going to be good. It's just as far as feature and control-wise goes, it's just going to be very lacking compared to other more dedicated options out there. All in all, I think the Pulse Explorer is a good sounding headset, but the balance of features and everything going on for it does make it, I think, a very awkward sell unless you're a very particular person. Namely, if you like the PlayStation Portal and use that often and you want to have a dedicated wireless earbud option for it, again, this is basically the only option you can take advantage of. Or if for whatever reason you prefer using in-earbuds over over-ears and you want one with gaming features built for being used with the PS5. The Explorer are neat, but I think they've just convinced me to be more excited for the Elite because what these are offering in in-ear form, I can't wait to see in an even more affordable over-ear option. So those are my thoughts on the Pulse Explorer. These are actually pretty tough to get a hold of right now. They kind of keep showing up in stock and disappearing. That's part of the reason why it took me a little bit to cover these. If you are interested in grabbing them though, I'll put some links down below in case they start to pop up a little more often. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button to let me know. I am planning on talking about these more in the future with the Pulse Elite, so if you don't want to miss out on that video, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys later.